Have you noticed how some entrepreneurs seem to scale their businesses effortlessly while others work twice as hard for half the results? The difference isn't just tactics or strategies, it's mindset. And in today's video, I'm sharing 5 critical mindset shifts that separate struggling entrepreneurs from those who consistently generate 6 figures monthly. These are the fundamental thinking patterns that transform how you approach business growth. And the best part, once you understand this shift, you'll wonder why nobody taught you this sooner. So whether you are currently a 5K, 30K, or 75K month, this 5 mindset transformation will help you break through your current ceiling and build something truly scalable. Let's dive in. I want to emphasize something important before we begin. These mindset shifts are not sequential. You don't master one, then move to the next. They are simultaneous transformations that work together as a system. As you go through them, notice which ones you already partially adopted, which ones you represent the biggest gaps in your thinking right now. And why focus on mindset instead of tactics? Because tactics without the right mindset will always produce limited results. I've seen entrepreneurs with incredible strategies fail because their underlying thinking patterns sabotage their execution. Think about it like this: you can have the most sophisticated race car in the world, but if you are driving it with the mindset of someone operating a go kart, you'll never unlock its true potential. You'll be afraid to push the accelerator, hesitant around corners, and ultimately resign to mediocre performance from an exceptional machine. And the purpose of today's video is to help you identify which of these mindset shifts you need to make, because I guarantee at least one of them is currently holding back your growth potential. And without further ado, the first mindset shift is from hustle to strategy. And that's essential for reaching 100K month. It's moving from hustle to strategy. And here's the problem with hustle culture: it works until it doesn't. When you starting out, putting in more hours and working harder does translate to more results. Making your first 10, 20, or even 50K monthly can absolutely come from hustling harder than everyone else. But there's a ceiling to what hustle alone can achieve. There are only so many hours in a day, only so much energy you can expend before burnout hits. And when you are aiming for 100K month, you are trying to accomplish something that pure effort alone cannot achieve. Think of hustle like a hammer. It's incredibly effective for certain jobs, but as your business evolves, you'll need more sophisticated tools. You need to transition from working harder to working strategically. And let me give you a concrete example. Consider an online course creator who's currently making 30K a month through one-on-one coaching and a small group program. They work 60 plus hours weekly, handling everything from content creation to sales call to customer service. With a hustle mindset, the growth plan would be taking more clients, lead more group programs, working 80 hours instead of 60 hours, push harder on personal outreach, just do more of everything. But with a strategic mindset, their growth plan shifts dramatically. Create a scalable program structure that serves 50 plus people with the same energy as 10. Identify and eliminate low ROI activities, build systems to replace personal involvement, and hire specialized talent to handle specific functions, and focus energy on highest level leveraged point only. Here's another real world example. Imagine a service provider doing 50K month through client work. With a hustle mindset, they might try to work with more clients or work more hours, but with a strategic mindset, they might develop a diagnostic framework that allows them to deliver more value in less time, or build a small team to handle fulfillment while they focus on high value consultation. This means identifying leverage points in your business, building systems that scale without your direct involvement, making decisions based on ROI rather than effort, focusing on multiplication rather than addition, distinguishing between motion and progress, recognizing when more effort produces diminishing results, The strategic mindset asks fundamentally different questions. Not how can I do more, but how can I create greater results with the same or less effort? Not what new thing should I add, but what existing element could I optimize for exponential growth? I see so many entrepreneurs hit this plateau around 10, 20K a month because they are still operating with the hustle mindset. They believe if they work harder, longer, and push more, they break through. But the breakthrough comes from shifting to strategic thinking. And even worse, the hustle mindset tends to create businesses that becomes prison. And yes, you might hit a revenue goal, but at what cost to your health, to your relationships, and overall quality of life? This strategic mindset creates both higher revenue and more freedom simultaneously. So ask yourself these questions. Am I still trying to hammer my way to growth, or am I developing more sophisticated tools for the job? Where am I trying to solve with effort what should be solved with systems? What activities in my business produce the greatest results with the least amount of effort? Now, the second critical shift is moving from complexity to simplicity. And most entrepreneurs start with their journey by saying yes to everything, different services, multiple products, various income streams. This makes perfect sense when you're just trying to get cash in the door. But this approach becomes a liability when you're trying to scale. There is a powerful concept that I really, really love called one offer, one avatar, 1 million. The path to seven figure isn't through juggling five different businesses, it's through doing one thing extremely well for one specific audience. And I know this runs counter to the common advice about multiple income streams. And yes, diversification is super important for wealth preservation, but wealth creation often requires intense focus. Think about most major success stories. Apple focused on the iPhone when it was their breakthrough product. Facebook focused on social networking before diversifying. Amazon focused on books before expanding. Nearly every billion-dollar success story begins with fanatical focus on one thing. And the truth is that multiplicity creates divided attention, diluted marketing message, confusion for potential customers, operational inefficiencies, and team alignment challenges. Here's what happens when you simplify. Your marketing becomes more powerful because it focuses on one clear message. Your operation becomes more efficient because your processes can be optimized for one offering. Your team becomes more effective because they master one system, and your own energy becomes more concentrated on innovation and improvement rather than juggling. Your customer experience improves because you're entirely focused on perfecting one journey. The psychological comfort of multiple streams is that if one fails, you have backups. But the reality is that managing multiple streams divides your attention, making each stream weaker than it could be. And consider this real world scenario. If you have one offering generating 30K monthly with 5,000 visitors and you optimize that funnel to convert just 20% better, you'll make 36K. But if those same resources were divided across three different offers making 10K each, a 20% improvement in any one of them only adds 2K to your bottom line. Same effort, dramatically different results. And when you are approaching that 100K month milestone, simplification becomes your superpower. It allows you to channel all your resources, attention, and energy into making one undeniably successful rather than five things moderately successful. So ask yourself these questions. What if I removed everything from my business except the one thing that shows the most promise? How much faster could that one thing grow? Which of my offerings has the highest profit margin and the most potential for scale? What would my business look like if I only had one product, one customer type, and one marketing channel? Where is complexity creating hidden costs in my business? Now, the third transformation is shifting from self focus to value creation. And many entrepreneurs approach business with a fundamentally transactional mindset. What do I need to give to get paid this amount? And this creates a ceiling on your earning potential because you are constantly thinking about the minimum you need to deliver to justify your price. And here's how this manifests. An entrepreneur offering a 2000 course calculates that they need to provide 10 modules, 10, 20 videos, and 5 bonuses to justify the price. They are focused on the inputs rather than the outcomes. They are thinking about what they need to give rather than the value that they need to create. The 100K month mindset flips this equation. How much value can I create? And what portion of that value would be fair compensation? With this mindset, the same entrepreneur now focuses on the transformation their course creates, perhaps helping clients save 20 hours weekly or increase their income by 5,000 monthly. If the course delivers 60,000 of annualized value, suddenly 2,000 seems like a bargain, not a price that needs justification. This completely transforms how you approach your business. Instead of thinking, I want to make 100K a month, what do I need to sell? You think I want to create a million worth of value a month and I'll take 10% of that value. When you operate with a value creation mindset, your offers naturally becomes more compelling because they are built around outcomes, not your inputs. Your pricing conversation becomes easier because you can articulate clear ROI. Your marketing focus on transformation and not transaction. Your business becomes mission driven rather than revenue driven. Your client relationship becomes partnerships rather than vendor customer dynamics, and your own motivation shifts from making money to creating impact. And here's a powerful reframe. You are paid in direct proportion to the value you create for others. Therefore, to get what you want from business, help others get what they want from life. This isn't just about monetary value either. Value can be time saved, stress reduced, joy increase, status enhanced, or problem solved. When you obsess about creating maximum value rather than extracting maximum profit, paradoxically, profit tends to follow. Consider this value dimension: the economic value, the money saved or made, the time value, hours saved or efficiency gain, emotional value, reduce stress or increase happiness, status value, enhance reputation or positioning, and safety value, reduce risk or increase security, health value, improve well being or vitality. The more dimensions of value your offer addresses, the more valuable it becomes, and the more you can charge as fair compensation for that value. Ask yourself the following questions: am I focused more on what I can get or what I can give? And am I thinking about the minimum I need to deliver or the maximum value I can create? What is the true ROI my clients receive from working with me? And am I capturing a fair portion of the value? How could I increase the value I deliver by 10x without necessarily increase my effort by 10x? The fourth critical shift is moving from achievement to purpose. But let's be honest about something. 100K a month is an obscene, enormous amount of money. If your sole motivation is the material possession that money can buy, you'll likely find yourself struggling to maintain that level if you reach it. And why? Because building and maintaining a business at that scale is challenging. It comes with stress, responsibility, and complexity that a purely monetary motivation often can sustain. And I've seen this pattern repeatedly. An entrepreneur builds a business to 50, 70K a month. hits their financial goals, buys the things they wanted, and then their motivation disappears. They start procrastinating on important tasks, their energy drops, they wonder why they are working so hard, and eventually their business plateaus or declines. On the other hand, entrepreneurs driven by purpose seem to have inexhaustibly energy for their work. They are not just building a business, they are on a mission. They see their company as the vehicle for something larger than themselves. Consider these contrasting examples. An entrepreneur building a fitness business primarily to make money will likely struggle with the day-to-day grind of content creation, client management, and marketing. A fitness entrepreneurs on a mission to revolutionize how people approach health, having overcome their own health challenges, brings boundless enthusiasm to exact same task. The entrepreneur who sustainably generate these numbers have a purpose beyond the money. They are driven by a mission they deeply believe in, a desire to solve significant problems, a commitment to their team and community, a vision for impact beyond themselves, a legacy they want to create, a transformation they want to drive in their industry. Without this deeper purpose, you'll likely find yourself wondering why you are working so hard once your basic material needs are met. You'll question whether the additional stress and responsibility are worth it for more money you don't necessarily need for happiness. I work with an entrepreneur who built a 90K a month business, but felt oddly empty after reaching his financial goals. We spent some time reconnecting him with the reason he started his business in the first place, helping people overcome the same challenges he had faced. By refocusing on mission, not only did his satisfaction increase tremendously, but his business actually broke past the 100K month within 60 days because his marketing became more authentic and resonant. Having a purpose larger than money doesn't just fuel your motivation, it transforms your decision making. You make longer term choices, you build more sustainable system, you create a business that aligns with your values rather than just your bank account. Purpose also affects how you handle inevitable challenges. When you encounter obstacles, the achievement focused entrepreneur thinks, why is this happening to me? This is preventing me from reaching my goals. The purpose driven entrepreneur thinks, what can I learn from this challenge? How can it help me better fulfill my mission? One approach leads to frustration and burnout. The other leads to growth and resilience. So ask yourself, if money were not object, would I still be building this business? What's the purpose that would keep me going even when things get difficult? What outcome in my client's life I'm most passionate about creating? What change do I want to see in my industry or the world through my work? What will make me proud to look back on my business in 10, 15, 20 years beyond financial metrics? And lastly, but not least, the fifth and perhaps the most powerful shift is moving from scarcity to abundance. Scarcity thinking doesn't just afflict struggling entrepreneurs, it often persists even when you are successful. In fact, it can become more pronounced because now you have more to lose. Let me share some example of how scarcity thinking manifests at a higher revenue level. A course creator making 50K monthly refuses to invest 10K in a high caliber team member who could dramatically improve their operations because that's too expensive. Meanwhile, they are losing 30K a month in opportunity costs from operational inefficiencies. A consultant earning 40K monthly can't delegate client work because no one can do it as well as I can. So they remain trapped in the fulfillment rather than scaling their impact and income. A software founder hitting 80K monthly compares themselves unfavorably to competitors doing 200K monthly, completely discounting their own remarkable achievement and creating unnecessary stress and self doubt. Signs of scarcity mindset at higher income levels include extreme conservatism with business investment, resistant to delegating important tasks, constant worry about losing what you've built, difficulties celebrating wins because you're focused on potential problems, comparing yourself unfavorably to others despite your success, making decisions based on fear rather than opportunity, reluctance to share knowledge or collaborate with peers, excessive concern about competitors rather than focusing on your own path. This scarcity mindset creates a self imposed ceiling in your growth. You don't invest appropriately in your business because you are afraid of loss. You don't delegate because you don't trust others. You don't take calculated risk because you are protecting what you have. I worked with a business owner who refused to hire help until they were completely overwhelmed. When they finally hired the first team member at 30K a month in revenue, that team member alone helped them grow to 60K a month within 90 days. So, in other words, the investment paid for itself 10 times over. The owner admitted, I wish I'd done this a year ago instead of trying to save money. Developing an abundance mindset means seeing opportunities rather than threats, making decisions from a place of possibility rather than fear, investing confidently in growth rather than hoarding resources, trusting team members with meaningful responsibility, focusing on your own path rather than comparison, approaching relationships looking for win-win scenarios, celebrating other people's success as proof of what's possible, viewing failure as feedback rather than finality. Here's a transformative reframe. Every dollar you invest in your business isn't a cost, it's a seed. Some seeds won't grow, and that's okay, but some will produce a harvest many times the original investment. The scarcity mindset entrepreneurs focus on the seeds that don't grow. The abundant mindset entrepreneur celebrates the harvest while continuing to plant more seeds. Think of a scarcity mindset as running a marathon with ankle weights. Yes. With enough determination, you can still finish, perhaps even with a respectable time, but imagine how much faster and further you can go with simply removing those weights. Scarcity thinking is particularly insidious because it masquerades as prudence. It says, I'm just being careful with my resources. But true prudence is making clear eye assessment of risk and reward and not avoiding risk altogether. The most successful entrepreneurs I know are not necessarily the most talented or hardworking. They are the ones who master the abundance thinking. They make decisions quickly, invest confidently, delegate effectively, and focus on possibilities rather than limitations. So, again, ask yourself, where is my scarcity thinking creating artificial limitations? What would I do differently if I truly believe that was more than enough to go around? What investment have I been avoiding out of fear that could potentially transform my business? Who could I delegate to that would free my time for higher value activities? How am I playing small when I could play in bigger? These five mindset shifts don't operate in isolation. They reinforce each other to create a completely new way of approaching your business. The shift from hustle to strategy allows you to work smarter, and not harder. The shift from complexity to simplicity focus your energy where it matters the most. The shift from self focus to value creation transform how you approach your market. The shift from achievement to purpose fuels your motivation when challenges arise, and the shift from scarcity to abundance removes self imposed limitations. Together, they create a foundation for not just reaching 100K a month, but sustaining and exceeding that level while actually enjoying the journey. It's important to recognize that these shifts aren't one time events but ongoing practices. Even after you made initial progress, you'll find yourself slipping back into old thinking patterns during challenging times. The key is to develop self awareness so you can recognize when this happens and course correct quickly. These five mindset shifts from hustle to strategy, from complexity to simplicity, from self focus to value creation, from achievement to purpose, and from scarcity to abundance create the foundation for sustainable six figures month. The beautiful thing about mindset shift is that they don't require more time or resources, just a new way of thinking. And often making even one of these shifts can create a breakthrough results in your business. Which of these mindset shifts resonate most with you? Which one represents your biggest opportunity for growth? Focus on that one first and watch how it transforms not just your results, but your entire experience of building your business. Remember, reaching 100K a month isn't just about what you do, it's about who you become in the process. The mindset that gets you there is the same mindset that will allow you to sustain and build upon that success. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.